New day, new dime. Still got money on my mind. Y'all want to discuss this Texas THCA ban? Because it happens today. Today is the deadline for all the dispensaries to have removed any THC products, smokeable THC products, over the THC limit of point 0.3, I believe, or maybe 0.3. Might check. Okay, I'm doing a mic check right there. Uh, I want to really like dive into this. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna affect a lot of the smaller dispensaries. Um, the larger ones, the bigger companies, and I think that's what they're trying to do is really just get rid of all the small situations, because the bigger companies, they more than likely will be able to survive. But from what I understand, it's a ban on smokeable uh, THC products. So if I'm not mistaken, the edibles and whatnot will still be able, you'll still be able to access like the edibles and whatnot. This concerns me because I do smoke. Well, no, well, actually, you know what? Actually, for about a week, I actually stopped for about a week. I ain't been smoking about a week, and I'm actually considering just stopping at this point, or not necessarily stopping, but just calming down a little bit. Cause I smoke like damn near every day, all day, like probably like I want to say at least 6, 7, 8 blunts a day, probably more than that. But definitely significantly slowed down here in the last week or so. And I'm thinking about just since I've already not been smoking for like the last week, just continuing the soccer. Cause what I did notice since I ain't been smoking, my production level turns up. You know what I'm saying? Like that, and that's just me. Everybody probably not like that, but me, when I'm not high, my hustles is like 10 times. Well, I ain't gonna say 10 times, but it's greater. Let me dive into this. Excuse me. Let me dive into this state law. Uh, and I'm getting this information from the Texas Tribune. You know what I'm saying? And how it reads is new state rules that eliminate natural smokable hemp products and increase licensing fees will go into effect today. Hemp industry leaders say that these new regulations will eliminate a majority of their inventory and force those who didn't have extra income to meet these new fees to the closed stores. From what I understand, the license fee, there was a license fee to get a license to have a dispensary in Texas. And from what I understand, it was like 200 and some dollars. And now I think they raised it up to like 5,000. So that's why I'm saying they're just trying to cut out the mom and pop, the smaller uh, companies and whatnot. But here's what a lot of people probably don't understand though, is them turning, regulating that in the dispensaries. All it's gonna do is it's gonna turn the streets up. The streets finna turn up because now all of these different dispensaries with all this inventory, they still gonna have a lot of inventory. These a lot of these dispensaries got pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of Mary Jana on deck. So what you think they're gonna do? Flush it? What you think they're gonna do with it now that Texas is saying they can't sell it in the store? And of course you know what they're gonna do with it. They're gonna put it out on the street. So the streets finna turn up in Texas. And I was thinking about this last night. I was like, you know what? This might be a setup. That's what I'm starting to think. I'm starting to think this Texas THC ban thing is a setup for like the Texas street niggas and shit. That's what I'm really starting to think that because I feel like I feel like they felt like they wasn't making enough money off of taxing uh, the THC and this, that, and the third. So what they did was they gonna make it to where dispensaries can't sell it. It'll have to go back to the streets, and now they'll continue getting their money off of the justice system. Cause I think that's where the justice system. That's where they make most of their money off of the weed industry is off the justice system. So that's what I think is happening. I think they like, well, we're not making enough money off the weed, because people ain't paying taxes, people ain't doing this and that. They ain't making enough money off of it. Or, I ain't gonna say enough money, but they're not making as much as they will be making off the justice system. As far as giving people bullshit ass weed cases, this and the third, they're gonna make more money like that versus taxing the weed. And I think that has a lot to do with why they raise the different fees and whatnot, why they even making this a thing. Because now all of those dispensaries that have all that inventory, they gonna put that. They ain't finna just take a loss on that. You lost your rabbit ass mind. So if you think these dispensaries are gonna take a loss on that and just chalk it up as a loss, you done lost your mind, bro. What they gonna do is they're gonna continue to sell it online and just mail it to folks, and they're gonna put it in the streets. The streets is gonna turn up. The streets finna turn up. Shout out to Greens Point. You know what I'm saying? That's where I be getting my cake from over there at Greens Point with all the little youngsters over there. They be over there thick. Over there, you just pop up. The laws be watching in there. I asked one time, I said, y'all don't see the law right there just sitting there watching this? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The law just be sitting over there in the parking lot while they hustling and shit. I be like, y'all know, I told one of the youngsters one day, I said, y'all know you over there taking notes and shit, right? And they don't give a fuck. They just getting their money, I guess, shit. Well, yeah, let me dive back into this. Uh, uh, from the Texas Tribune, it says, earlier this month, Texas Department of State of Health released regulations on consumable hemp derived from THC products that will go in effect on March 31st, which is today, y'all. These new regulations include child-resistant packaging, a significant increase in license fees, new labeling, testing, and bookkeeping requirements. So what they saying is y'all packaging was looking a little too friendly. Y'all packaging was looking too candy. It's too. They probably don't want y'all to have all the different candy flavors and all that for the cake, cause it's making it look like some candy for the children. But I don't know. I think that's a dumb. That's dumb because what the fuck a child doing in the dispensary? You see what I'm saying? Your child shouldn't even be in the dispensary. So that rule is dumb. Cause why is your child even in there in the first place to be looking at the packaging and all that? Uh, let's see what else they say. Licensing fees. I just spoke on that. They're gonna raise the licensing fees. I think it was $250, and now they finna raise it to like $5,000 for what I understand. Uh, Significant increase in licensing fee. New labeling, testing, and book. The labeling, I'm assuming, is probably just gonna have to have more um, of the like where it was grown, how it was grown. Just more information about the actual product. They I'm assuming that's what the labeling is gonna have to consist of. Testing, um, testing that they kind of that's that one. The all of the I ain't gonna say all of them, but a lot of the dispensaries that grow their own weed right now, they testing the weed. They already doing the testing. That's how they know. if it's THCA or THC, that's how they know the level of THC in the weed because they testing it. That's how they know it ain't got this. That's how they know it ain't got this. They testing the weed. You can even when you go on these different weed sites and all that dispensary sites, they have the papers on there where they tested it. You know what I'm saying? They had you can download the PDF. They'll have it on there where they actually did the test on it on whatever strain you might be looking at. Um, it says, however, hemp retailers say that the regulation that decreases the amount of total THC in products they sell to 0.3% will eliminate popular smokable hemp products such as rolled joints and smokable flower buds, which make up more than 50% of some stores' inventories. You see what I'm saying? I was just saying that the these stores, they got inventory. They got pounds and pounds and pounds of weed back there in the back. You know what I'm saying? So they're not just gonna, what do you think gonna do? Throw it away? Nah, that shit finna hit the streets, bro. The streets finna be turned up on the cake. And I'm starting to think that it's on purpose. I think this is a chess move by the Texas government. The Texas legislature voted to ban the products out of fear that these intoxicating products were consistently getting into the hands of children. What? Nah, man, I don't think that's true. I think that's what they call it, gaslight. That's a gaslight. There ain't no weed getting in no hands of children. If if children is smoking weed, it's because their parents ain't shit, and their parents just leaving their weed out or something, or they monitoring their kids and then. But I don't ever see no kids smoking weed and then nowhere. I mean, maybe I'm just not seeing it, But I just don't see that as a big thing that the kids is smoking weed and shit. I think that might be made up. They might have just put that on there just to kind of, you know, further their agenda. Greg Abbott vetoed the decision before asking Texas. Okay, so the rules also increased licensing fees for manufacturers of hemp-derived THC from $258 to $10,000. So I was wrong. It wasn't 5,000. It's actually 10,000. What will Texans no longer be able to buy? Under the new rules and regulations, Texas will no longer be able to purchase intoxicating smokable hemp products, including hemp flower or pre-rolled joints. Consumers can still purchase edibles and beverages because they have lower THC concentrations, or because they are under the per. I can't even know what the fuck that word say. So basically, what this is saying is, just like I just said, the smokable, it's the smokable THC products that's being banned. The edibles and the beverages. I was wondering why Sauce Walker down there in Houston. I was wondering why he was turning up on his beverage, like promotion. He's been promoting his different THC beverages that he has at his spot. He been promoting those too. That's probably why, because the smokable products are finna have to be taken off the shelf. But you a damn fool. You think Sauce and them ain't finna put that weed in the streets? That's why he probably ain't even tripping on the shit. Because really, you gonna make, to be honest, if you be 100% honest about it, you gonna make more off of it on the streets than you is in the dispensary. Because the dispensary, you gotta pay all kind of fees and taxes and all that. In the streets, you ain't paying shit. Let me see. Even though Texas law bans marijuana, lawmakers legalized hemp in 2019. State law defines hemp as containing less than 0.3% of Delta 9. To get around the law's Delta 9 THC restrictions, manufacturers start cultivating hemp plants with another type of THC called THCA that, when ignited in a joint or smokable product, can produce a high. And let me tell you something about that. THCA is not a different product than THC. It's not. It's the same exact product. It's not. It's not a different thing. It's not made different anything. All that they're doing is they're testing. They're testing the THCA prior to it getting to the level of an illegal level of THC. So they testing it when they first. I don't know exactly when exactly, but I know they testing it before it reaches those levels. The higher levels of THC. So they testing it, and it's testing at a level below the point 0.3 level or whatever. But then by the time you get the weed, it's gonna be higher THC level. So it's kind of like a glitch in the system type of shit. Um, Hemp businesses caught selling non-compliant products will face a range of penalties and fines, including license revocation, up to $10,000 in violation fees for each day these products were sold in stores. Damn. So they saying if you keep that shit on your shelves and just keep pushing it anyways, you can get a fee of up to $10,000 per day. Damn. What if your business what if your dispensary makes a 100,000 a day? You know what I'm saying? If your dispensary makes 100,000 a day and you can eat the 10,000, that'd be crazy to spend $10,000 a day on some fines and shit just to try to make money. People in Texas, what happens to Texans are caught in possession of smokeable THC products? People in Texas will not be committing a crime if they're in possession of smokeable THC products after March 31st. Damn, I didn't know that. I did not know that. So they saying that you can actually be caught. You can actually possess the cake after today. It says right, people in Texas will not be committing a crime if they are in possession of smokable THC products after March 31st. So maybe I was wrong with the whole they trying to set niggas up. But I guess it's still gonna be illegal to sell it. I guess you can possess it. Let me see, Fazio encourages Texans to take advantage of the sales on smokable hemp products over the next couple of days as hemp retailers are scrambling to clear these items from shelves. So they saying they having a blowout. They selling all this shit for the low. They saying you need to go take advantage of this shit. They're gonna be all the dispensaries gonna be selling shit for the low today. And that makes sense though.